Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Autumn Phoenix. Thank you for coming onto this live broadcast. I will be uploading this onto my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, Magically Blessed. I know I don't come on live very often. I'm going to try to make that more of a priority for you witches, especially for you witches who happen to be new to the craft and really want to live a life of real, significant, and permanently positive change. So that's why this broadcast is called What Makes a Person a Witch. I decided to do this broadcast because maybe I can tell you some things that make you a witch, that will give you real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft. So once again, my name is High Priestess Autumn Phoenix. We are here live on Instagram. I will be uploading this onto my Facebook page, Magically Blessed, and my YouTube channel, also named after myself, Autumn Phoenix. The first thing is we have to answer, what is a witch? What is a witch? A witch is a female or male. Yes, men can also be witches. Male witches are not warlocks. They are not wizards. A witch is a witch is a witch is a witch regardless of your gender. A witch is a witch. Witch is a gender neutral term. A witch is someone who does witchcraft. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about real, significant, and permanently positive change. When I say nature, I'm talking about crystals. I'm talking about graveyard dirt. I'm talking about basil. I'm talking about following the cycles of the moon. I'm talking about following the signs, the zodiac signs. I'm talking about tarot cards. That's what I mean by nature. Things outside of your home. Witches are in tune with nature. That's why many witches are what you call nature conservatives. They preserve, am I saying that right? They preserve nature. They protect nature. They protect the environment. Witches work with the energy found in nature, outside your door. You may have been a witch if you grew up loving to be outdoors, loving to be out into nature, love making potions by making mud pies, mud soup. That is one big indication that you may be a witch. You just love nature. Another indication that you may be a witch is you used to grow up thinking that the moon followed you when your parents were driving their car. You have always been fascinated with the moon. When I was growing up, I used to be fascinated with the moon. I have always loved the moon, always. And witches know that the moon really is a giant crystal ball that foretells the future. It's easy to look at the moon without burning your eyes. Most witches are their most intuitive best when the moon is full. We do have a new moon on the 29th, and new moon means just that, doing all things new. New relationships, new careers, new friendships, all things new on the new moon this coming 29th of January. What makes a person a witch? The biggest indication, I believe the only indication, really, is you do a spell and the spell works. The reason why witches do spells is not to control people, to control a outcome, but to improve their own lives and the lives of their friends and loved ones. Witches don't have to control anything because witches by nature, by their very nature, are powerhouses. Witches are powerhouses. Witches are powerful. If more witches realized how powerful they were, they would have no enemies, because those enemies would never dare to cross the line or step on that witch's toes to try to go toe to toe with them, try to battle with them, because they will always lose, sometimes even lose their life. Yes, your chosen god or goddess can kill your enemy. They absolutely can. Just erase them from the earth. Send them to the cemetery, graveyard, whichever. Send them to the crematorium. Whatever. But that only happens, witches only have that type of power to kill someone when they are serious in their praise, worship, and devotion of their chosen god or goddess. So for me, I am a devotee of the queen of witches, Hecate. So when I want something done, I'm serious about it. And Hecate, your own chosen god or goddess, will always add their strength to your own efforts. Always. If they say you doing your part, they will always meet you the rest of the way. That's another indication that someone is a witch. You have to do real world action. That means the simple explanation I can give for real world action is you want to get A+ on a test. Who doesn't? You want to get an A+ on a test, but you still have to study for the test. You can do a spell to pass the test, but you still have to study for the test. Hecate is not going to do everything for you. You have to put an effort into it. That's the big reason why spells fail, because you have not done your part. You have done no real world action. If you want to meet Mr. Right, Mrs. Right, you actually have to leave your house and go date. They're not going to break into your house. You have to do real world action if you want your spells to work. Now, I know there is some confusion between spells, rituals, hexes, and curses. Some witches and even some high priestesses and high priests try to group them all into being the same thing. Spells, rituals, hexes, and curses are not the same thing. I'll tell you right now the difference between all of them. A spell is something like you want to find a parking spot. That's simple, something easy. A ritual usually takes place over a couple of days, weeks, or months. A ritual is just that you do the same thing over and over again, but with more belief that it will work, more devotion, more offerings to your chosen god or goddess when you are doing a ritual. What they tell you to give you, not what they tell you to give them. So if your goddess or god wants something, you go get it. And they will never tell you to get something that will put you in jail. Your chosen god or goddess is not going to ask you to go get some weed, get some crack, get some coke, get some heroin. No. Your chosen god or goddess will not tell you to get anything like that, because you will go to prison for that. What they ask you for, your chosen god or goddess, will always be something that you can get. Something also that you can afford. So they may want a piece of chocolate. They may want blue roses. Now, listen. I know that blue roses can be a little bit expensive, but make it happen. If your chosen god or goddess wants blue roses, even though blue roses do not grow naturally in nature, they have to be changed, modified, whatever, you will make it happen. But it will always be something that you can get that will not get you in prison. A hex is somebody falling down the stairs, but they don't get hurt. They may be sore, but they don't get hurt. A curse is somebody falling down the stairs, breaking their neck, and being paralyzed for the rest of their life. See, it's much worse. Let me say this. When you curse someone, it's because you want that person to die. That's the only reason why a witch curses someone, because they want that person to die. And they have to deserve to die. Listen, not everybody deserves to be alive. Some people should die. Some people have to die. They are so detrimental. They are so horrible, terrible for this earth. They can't be here no more. They have to die. Let's stop this bullshit of be friends. Let's all get along. No, we cannot all get along. We cannot all be friends. Stop this kumbaya, I have a dream, Dr. King Malcolm X bullshit. Oh yes, I just went there. Because it's true. Witches don't have to do anything physical to make somebody die. If that person's death is warranted, it will happen. It will happen. Because evil cannot continue to run unchecked. Evil cannot continue to run with no recourse. Evil never wins. Evil never, ever wins. Ever. But it has to be warranted. It has to be for a good reason. Witches do not curse someone for no good reason. Because like I just said, when a witch curses someone, they want that person, or a large group of people, to die. Because some people should die. That's why. It's not because witches are evil. It's not that witches curse people for revenge or for retribution or because they're evil. No. It's keeping the scales of the universe in balance. It's keeping things in balance. Evil cannot go unchecked. Evil cannot go unpunished. There has to be justice. There will be justice. They may not face it all the time in this life, but in the next life, they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer. What makes a person a witch also is taking personal accountability. When you curse someone, you are taking accountability for that person's life coming to an end. When you bless someone as a witch, you are taking accountability for that witch to have prosperity and abundance going forward. Being a witch means taking also responsibility. That means you owe up to your own shit. You admit that sometimes you are wrong. And you try to make, you do make things right. You don't try. There is no such thing as try. You know what, that creature from, what was it, Star Wars or Star Trek, that said, there is no try. You either going to do it or not. There is no try. There is no try. You either going to do it or you're not. It cannot be tried. I don't want you to try to do anything. Just do it. Just do it. Being a witch means being accountable and being responsible for your own actions. It doesn't mean blaming somebody else. You know how the Christians blame Satan, blame the devil, blame Democrats, blame gay people, blame witches, blame liberals, blame Obama, blame CNN for their problems. Yes. Am I right? Yes. It means taking a personal accountability and responsibility with your powers. If witches, I swear, if more witches understood how powerful they were, especially when it comes to their speech, witches know that life and death is in the tongue. What you speak is what you will see. So if you say, I'm broke, guess what? You will be broke. If you say, I'm financially prosperous, you will be financially prosperous. Witches know the power of their words. And they use their words wisely. Especially when it comes to their thoughts. So if a witch thinks about something over and over again, they're giving that thought energy. Remember, as humans, we are part of energy. And witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature. That also includes ourselves. Our thoughts. What are you feeding your thoughts? What energy are you giving to your thoughts? Have you ever thought about something and you keep on thinking about it and then it happens? Or you read about it on the news, or you see it on the news? You didn't make that event happen, but you made it worse by feeding it energy. How do you not feed it energy? Go outside. Go do that laundry that you've had piled up for 4 days now. What are you feeding your thoughts? What are you speaking? Are you speaking life, or you are speaking death? There is no area of gray. There is no middle ground. Witches know that they are powerhouses. Witches take accountability and responsibility. Witches take hold of their thoughts. Witches who do, because not all witches work with a god or goddess, but witches who do work with a god or goddess give their god or goddess offerings that they ask of them. And the offering will always be something that the witch can afford, that the witch can get. And when it is received, you know that your offering was received by your chosen god or goddess when you get what you asked for. So if you want a car, a house, you want your bills paid off, and that happens, that's your proof that your offering was accepted. Sometimes your offering is not accepted because your God wanted it yesterday and you got it today. They don't want it no more. Why didn't you get it yesterday? Why didn't you give your God the offering that it wanted yesterday? It's a new day. It's the day after. They don't want it now. Sometimes your offering is not accepted because it's not enough. So if your goddess wants 4 bags of chocolate, let's say Ghirardelli chocolate, and you get only 1 bag, that's not the offering they asked you for. They wanted 4 bags. You gave them 1. I don't care how expensive, and yes, Ghirardelli chocolate is expensive. It's like $8 for a bag. Who cares? Get it. You can't afford it because, like I just said, your chosen god or goddess would not ask for an offering that you could not afford. Get it. Get the 4 bags of chocolate that your goddess asked for, not 1, because you didn't. It's not an offering. The bag of chocolate really is for you. So what happens afterwards with that chocolate? You bury it. You bury it in an area that represents your god or goddess. So if I were to buy a bag of chocolate, 4 bags of chocolate, and my goddess is Hecate, after the offering is accepted, I would bury it at a crossroads because that represents Hecate, crossroads. I would not, don't eat it. It's not for you to eat. Don't get tempted. I love chocolate myself. I love chocolate. But I'm not going to eat the offering that Hecate asked me for. It's not mine, it's hers. It's hers. So what represents your chosen god or goddess? Let's say you have let's say your god is Aries, the god of war. Aries represents fire, so you would probably burn your offering. But you don't eat it. That's a big misconception. Some witches think that they have to eat the offering after the offering has been accepted. It's not yours. You have to dispose of it in a way that represents your chosen god or goddess. And with Valentine's Day coming up, I know there's a lot of controversy about witches doing love spells for Valentine's Day. Witches do not do love spells to take your man or take your woman. Witches are not home wreckers. They don't want your man. They don't want your woman. They don't want your shorty. They don't want your bitch. Okay? They don't want them. They want a brand new partner. There is no real true witch doing a love spell to bring back an ex. Witches don't want their ex-husband, ex-wife, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend back. Because they are an example of what they don't want in their next relationship. Witches do love spells to get a brand new partner. Not the old one and not yours. So don't flatter yourself. When February comes, thinking that witches are doing love spells to take your shorty from you. They don't want him. They don't want her. Witches are not home wreckers. Witches do love spells not because they need a man, not because they need a woman, but because mostly they want marriage. They want marriage. They want marriage. That marriage is not going to come from your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or from their ex. It's going to come from a brand new romantic partner. This is so controversial, especially in the month of February. People have this idea that witches are doing love spells to take their husbands, to take their wives. They don't do that. You cannot do a love spell on someone who does not want to be with you. You cannot do a love spell on someone who has a restraining order against you. They hate you. Can't you understand that? Witches are doing love spells on February 14th to get a brand new partner, to get a brand new love interest, not to take yours and not to get their ex back. It's unethical in our community of witches to do a love spell to bring back an ex or to take somebody else's man or woman. They don't do that. Witches do love spells with the focus, with the end goal being marriage. Being marriage. Not because they want what you have or because witches are powerful enough to do it. Yeah, witches are powerful to take your man. Yeah, witches are powerful enough to take your woman. They are. I'll admit that. But those are not witches, though. Those are just straight up home wreckers and whores. You're a whore. Okay? So when February gets here, witches are doing love spells to get a brand new partner. Not somebody old and not yours. They don't want Pookie or Bam Bam or Gloctovius. They don't want that. Or Shaniqua or Tashonda. They don't want nobody like that. No. We don't do that over here. We don't do that over here at all. No. No. Not at all. So I'm looking forward to hearing comments and messages from witches who have done love spells next month and have attained their husband, their wife, and will live happily ever after. Will live a fairy tale life. Because that person that is summoned to be their husband or their wife will love them for them and, more importantly, accept the fact that they are a witch. Will accept the fact that they are a witch. You can't do a love spell to summon a new person and they don't like the fact that you are a witch. They have to be accepting of that. If not, they can go. Because you're not going to change to become a fucking Catholic or a fucking Methodist to keep them happy. Who the fuck wants to be a Catholic? Okay, let's keep it real, all right? Please. They will accept the fact that you are a witch. And they will show interest in becoming a witch themselves. They want to see you perform a spell or ritual, a hex or a curse. They want to be included in your rituals. They want you for you. They will not try to change you. They will not try to convert you. They will not try to get you back to church. They will not try to show you what's in the Bible. They will accept you for you. And I'm personally looking forward, because I got all these messages last year from witches who found their partner, who found their husband, who found their wife, who are now pregnant, who are now married, and they accept them for being a witch. They want to raise their children as witches. They live happily ever after. And that will be you too. If you do a spell to get a brand new partner, please don't do a spell to bring back an ex. He, she don't want you. There are like 8 billion people in the world. There's somebody out there for you who fits every single quality you want in a man or a woman or a transgender person. There is somebody out there for you. I would suggest that you get into the details of what you want in a partner and focus solely on that. And then go out. Like I just said a couple of minutes ago, you have to go out and meet the person. You won't meet the person at home. And no, you will not meet the person online. Tinder, online dating sites, you're not going to find your partner as a witch. Your chosen God or goddess will never tell you, go online and find a partner. Do online dating. You actually have to leave the house. I know there are dating sites now that have what you call a live streaming. You can like FaceTime the person now. Not for witches. Not for witches. For witches, they have to leave the house. Because witches read energy. You can't read energy with somebody online. Even FaceTime. You have to be in the physical presence of that person. Online dating is not for witches. You have to be in the physical presence of that person. Your chosen God or goddess will never tell you to search online for your husband or your wife. They're not there. They're not there. They're outside. They're outside. You have to leave the house. You actually have to leave the house. That's the first step to making your love spells work. You have to leave the house. Oh, you might be saying, well, I can talk to this person online and then we can meet in person. For witches. Witches are not like everybody else. I'm not trying to say that witches are better than people, but witches are smarter than people. I will say that. Witches are smarter than people. Witches are not average. Witches are not average. They are powerhouses. So don't say, well, I can meet he or she online and then meet with them in person. For witches, you have to meet the person in person so you can read their energy. You can't read their energy by FaceTiming them. It's not the same thing. You can't read other people's energy online. You have to physically be in front of that person, especially when love is involved, because love is the most powerful force in the universe. The only thing more powerful than Hecate or any other god or goddess is love itself. You may have heard that before. Love is the most powerful force in the world. That's actually true. That is actually true. But you, as witches, have got to leave the house. You can't find them online. They're not online. They're not online. So just to recap, what makes a person a witch? A witch is someone who does witchcraft. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about real, significant, and permanently positive change. Witches take accountability, responsibility. They give offerings. They listen to their chosen god or goddess as their divine source of counsel. They get the offerings that their god or goddess has requested. Witches do not eat the offering, no matter how tempting it may be. Witches do love spells because Valentine's Day is coming up, so I have to mention love spells, right? Witches do love spells on Valentine's Day to bring a new partner. Witches do not do love spells on Valentine's Day to take your man or to take your woman or to bring back an ex. They want a brand new partner with the focus being living happily ever after, marriage, and children if they so choose. The energy found in nature that I talk so much about is the crystals, the rocks, the dirt, the leaves, the trees, the animals, and of course themselves. Remember, we are part of nature. Witches also control how they speak. Witches also bind their own thoughts. They don't feed negative thoughts. Because if you feed your negative thoughts, you may read about what happened in the news or see it happening live on the news. When negativity comes to your mind, you have to escape your own mind by going into nature as a witch to heal, to regenerate, or you may have to come into the presence of your chosen god or goddess. How do you come into the presence of your chosen god or goddess? Ask them what they want. Ask them what you should do to take control, to bind, and to send those negative thoughts on its way to never return, so you don't have to worry about feeding them, because your chosen god or goddess, for me, it would be Hecate, took them away. You have to take control of your thoughts. You as witches, and myself too, even as a high priestess, have to take control of what we say. What we speak is what will be. What you speak is what will be. What are you saying about yourself? Are you saying, I hate myself? I wish I was dead? I'm broke? When you say those things, they will happen. They will happen. Words are powerful. Words create and destroy. So what are you speaking? Especially, what are you speaking about yourself? What are you saying about yourself? If you say, I'm happy, you will be happy. If you say, I'm prosperous, you will be prosperous. If you say, I live in abundance, you will live in abundance. If you say, I'm a millionaire, you are a millionaire. And saying positive things about yourself motivates you to get that $1 million. Motivates you to be happy. Motivates you to be inspired to do what I was talking about earlier, which is real world action. When you do real world action, your spells work. It has to work. It has to work. Because you have shown your chosen god or goddess that you're serious about what you're asking them for. So if you want a house, a car, you want to get out of debt, you want better for your children, you want to move to a safe neighborhood, you want to leave the gang life, you want to leave the drug life, you don't want to be a crackhead no more, you don't want to be selling drugs to support your family no more. That can happen. That can happen. But you have to take your chosen god or goddess advice and put them as your divine counsel. Not your mother, not your father, not your cousin. Your chosen god or goddess is your soul counsel. You don't listen to nobody else, not even to me as a high priestess. What is your chosen God or goddess telling you? And like I said, they will never tell you to do anything that would put you in prison or put you in death row. That's so important, because some witches tell me, my goddess told me to do this, and now I'm going to prison. That was not your chosen God or goddess. That was your own thoughts. That was your flesh. Your God or goddess did not tell you to tie someone up and burn them with cigarettes. That's what you wanted to do anyway. Your chosen God or goddess will never tell you to do something that will get you in prison. Never. Never. If you hear that, go to your chosen God or goddess and tell them that you don't want those thoughts anymore. You don't want that urge to torture animals, or to kidnap people, or to hijack planes and trains. You don't want those thoughts anymore. Because a therapist can't help you. Medication can't help you. The police won't help you. Your chosen God or goddess will help you. If you make them your divine counsel, that means you only listen to them. Nobody else. Nobody's more wiser than your chosen God or goddess. Why? Because they've been here before. They can see around every corner. They can see into the future. They know the future. Just ask them, what's happening next? Especially with everything happening in the world right now, ask your chosen God or goddess, what's happening in the world right now? What's to come next? They may not tell you everything all at once. They will tell you what you need to know so that you have a head start from everyone else who is not witches. You see, when you become a witch, you become much more intuitive. You just know the future. Just know. But you're not always permitted to speak about it as soon as you get the information. Sometimes your chosen God or goddess will tell you to wait. Don't say anything just yet. Wait until I give you the go-ahead. And it will always be before the event happened. Hecate, let's say for example, Hecate will never tell you about something to come in the future after it has happened. So let's say some big event happens tomorrow and you know about it today. You knew it was going to happen. You did not know it was going to happen the day after the news broke. So, witches are pretty intuitive. They're highly intuitive. They listen to their chosen God or goddess and silence every other voice. I don't care what your grandmother thinks. Oh, my grandmother knows this. Your grandmother is not Hecate. She's not. She's not. Your grandmother, if she was not a witch, and if she was, say, a Christian, her thoughts, her so-called psychic information comes from Jesus, who didn't know anything, to be honest with you. Couldn't even save himself. So how can he help you? No, it comes from your chosen God or goddess. And yes, let me say this, because there's some confusion. You are still a witch if you don't have a chosen God or goddess. You can just rely solely on your intuition and not have a chosen God or goddess. And guess what? Hecate, Aries, Aphrodite, Lilith, Medusa will not hold it against you. Isis, Osiris, Zeus will not hold it against you. They will not condemn you to hell if you don't work with them. It's fine to not work with a god or goddess. It's fine. There is never any pressure to be a witch. Never any pressure. You are still a witch if you do a spell and your spell works. That's how you're a witch. You do a spell and your spell works. That's fantastic. That's amazing. It's supposed to work. But keep in mind, it will really work if you do real world action. Real world action. Your spells can't. It has to work. It has to work. Because you've shown a commitment to want to obtain real, significant, and permanently positive change through the practice of witchcraft. So I've been talking now for maybe 40 minutes now. Let me check. Yeah, 40 minutes. So I'm going to let you witches go. Like I said, I will be uploading this onto my YouTube channel, which is Autumn Phoenix, and my Facebook page, which is called Magically Blessed. So once again, I am High Priestess Autumn Phoenix, who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hikate's best. Thank you, witches, for taking time out of your afternoon to join me here live, or if you're watching a replay on YouTube or Facebook. And I now release you into the rest of your afternoon. Bye, everyone.